Lewis Hamilton's Monaco weekend just took a hit, penalised for blocking Max Verstappen in qualifying, despite a strong recovery from a practice crash. With Ferrari's strategy gamble and a new two-stop rule shaking up the grid, chaos is brewing. Here's what really happened, and what it means for race day. Lewis Hamilton has just been slapped with a grid penalty for the Monaco Grand Prix, adding his name to the growing list of drivers under fire this weekend. The stewards ruled that Hamilton impeded Max Verstappen during Q1 after TV footage showed the Ferrari driver crawling through the entry to Massenet just as Verstappen was flying in at full speed on a hot lap. Forced to adjust his line, Verstappen didn't hold back, venting his frustration over the team radio. Both drivers still made it safely through to Q2 and eventually Q3, locking out P5, Hamilton, and P4, Verstappen. But after reviewing the incident post-session, the stewards hit Hamilton with a three-place grid drop, bumping him down to P7. That reshuffle promotes Verstappen to P4, along with Racing Bull's Isaac Hadjar and Aston Martin's Fernando Alonso. Hamilton now joins Ollie Behrman, who picked up a 10-place penalty for a red flag incident in practice, and Lance Stroll, who was penalised twice for separate clashes with Charles Leclerc and a Q1 impeding moment. Monaco's tight streets are unforgiving, and clearly so are the stewards. Car 44, Hamilton, was on a slow lap and off the racing line as he was approaching turn 2, read the steward's decision document. Car 1, Verstappen, was approaching car 44 on a push lap. The team first informed the driver of car 44 that car 1 was on a fast lap. Then they sent another message saying that car 1 was slowing down, when in fact car 1 was always on a push lap and was not slowing down, as suggested by the team. This resulted in car 44 speeding up and moving into the racing line of car 1 entering turn 3. Car 1 had to react to car 44 appearing to move into the racing line. This meant that car 1 had to move off the usual racing line and the push lap had to be aborted by car 1. We carefully examined the racing line taken by car 1 in previous laps at the same area and determined that car 44 did in fact enter the racing line that car 1 used in previous push laps. This put it beyond doubt that car 1 was impeded. The driver of car 44 expressed his displeasure at the incorrect message from the team immediately after the incident. During the hearing, the fact of the team's incorrect message leading to the incident was accepted by the driver of car 44. As with previous incidents of this nature, where a driver has received inaccurate or incomplete information, resulting in a car impeding another, the fact that the radio message was the cause of the impeding does not amount to a mitigating factor. We therefore impose the standard penalty of a drop of 3 grid positions. Lewis Hamilton has broken his silence on the qualifying incident with Max Verstappen that sparked controversy in Monaco. The moment unfolded in Q1 as Verstappen was forced to back out of a flying lap after encountering a slow-moving Hamilton near the top of the hill. While both drivers advanced through to Q2 and Q3, the close call didn't escape the steward's attention, ultimately earning Hamilton a 3-place grid penalty. According to Hamilton, the confusion stemmed from Ferrari's data, which mistakenly showed that Verstappen wasn't on a push lap at the time. That misread proved costly, dropping the 7-time champ down the grid ahead of Sunday's race on F1's most punishing circuit. I don't know if there's some sort of issue with the computer screen. It said that Max was on the lap, and then it disappeared and said he wasn't. That was the information they gave me. They told me he was on a lap. So I moved to the side. I was completely out of the way. I guess for them, they realized he wasn't on a lap. They told me, so I started to accelerate. I stayed fully to the left, and I wasn't on the racing line. But of course it was distracting for Max. Just hours after crashing out of final practice, Lewis Hamilton bounced back in style, qualifying 4th in Monaco and delivering his best one-lap performance yet for Ferrari. But that high didn't last long. A post-session penalty for impeding Max Verstappen has now pushed him back to 7th on the grid. Despite the setback, Hamilton remains focused on the bigger picture. As he continues adapting to life at Ferrari, the 7-time world champion admitted that Charles Leclerc's deeper experience with the team is giving the Monegasque driver an edge in their ongoing intra-team battle. It's a much different car driving here than I've had for the last 12 years, but one I've really enjoyed driving, he added. Obviously, Charles has been driving this car, or at least the way they set the car up here for the last 6 years. He's fully the hits the ground running, and he knows it like the back of his hand. This weekend has been a quick, steep learning curve, but I was quite happy with the recovery from the crash in FP3. Lewis Hamilton didn't hold back when asked about Monaco's racing woes, calling last year's Grand Prix shite and backing a bold new move to shake things up. For the first time, the Monaco GP will feature a two-stop mandatory pit strategy, introduced to inject some much-needed drama into a race infamous for its processional pace and lack of overtaking. The new rule is aimed at breaking up the usual follow-the-leader format, where qualifying all but determines the outcome unless a safety car or red flag mixes up the order. With today's oversized F1 cars making passing even tougher on the tight Monaco streets, change was overdue. Hamilton, who will start 7th after a penalty for impeding Max Verstappen, welcomed the rule tweak, though he may have skirted the FIA's swearing guidelines in doing so. Whether the two-stop mandate actually spices up the action or just adds strategy chaos remains to be seen. But at least someone's trying to fix the Monaco snooze fest. I think the two stops should be better than the shite we had last year, he said. Last year the safety car came out lap 2 and everyone was just on one tyre for 70-something laps. It was an uneventful race. I think this forces a bit more of a lottery. I think you need that at this sort of track, because you can't overtake. I'm excited to see how different it is. I chose to have 2 hards. Charles, Leclerc, chose to have 2 mediums. I'm hoping that there's a benefit of that, but of course the 2 McLarens have 2 hards as well. The new rule has already stirred the pot before lights out, with teams now facing a strategic chess match over when to make their 2 mandatory stops. Saturday night just got a lot longer for the paddock's strategists, as every decision could make or break Sunday's race. It's a discussion you have at the beginning of tonight and tomorrow, added Hamilton. You have to rely on the team because you don't know where everyone is. You also have to have good patience and try not to overtake yourself. That's why I've given myself 2 hards, so hopefully that gives me a bit more opportunities. As Monaco gears up for a race like no other, Hamilton's penalty, Ferrari's strategy gamble, and the 2-stop twist promise fireworks on Sunday. Will it be chaos or a classic? Buckle up and don't miss a moment. Subscribe for full post-race analysis and all the fallout from Formula One's most iconic stage.